Yo, good morning. Guido coming at you with a coffee talk. We've got Pilgrim today over there. Good morning, Pilgrim.
Good morning, all colonials and Brits and Euros and the rest of the world. And guess what we've got in there today? You can probably just see it.
Tea.
This is chamomile and raspberry tea.
Why? Why?
Well, I have no idea why she has, but the House General has bought this, and she said you've got to try this. So, in the spirit of going on my big adventure in 3 years' time, I'm drinking weird drinks. Because that's what it's going to be.
Isn't
like
chamomile? Isn't that like what you have at the spa while you're sitting and having your toes done or something?
I have no idea. Seriously, I went to get the tea bags and there was this odd sort of stringy thing. I've never seen this before. Look, and then these things. Look
You
at the
got a
colour
tea
of
bag, bro. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's peasant tea.
See, Cliffy's got it. That's like a relaxation. That's like a girly relaxation tea.
Well, if I fall asleep,
If you pass out randomly, it's because you got chamomile. Speaking of tea, I had, and I wasn't super jazzed with it. It wasn't bad. We went to out for Indian, and they said we have chai tea. I'm like, yeah, I'll have some chai tea.
Oh, I've had that. I'm not jazzed with it, but yeah.
What's the taste? Is that the chai? It almost tastes like it had ginger in it or something.
I was going to say, I think it's a ginger base. I think it's a ginger base because it's a slight. Well, I don't know which one you've had, but it's slightly fiery. Sorry, my tea bags are all everywhere. It's there's like a fiery tang to the back of the throat taste.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely had a different. It was milky, so it was a milky tea.
I know.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. It's like I wouldn't go looking for it. I'm glad I had it because I'd never had it, but I don't think I'd order it again. But I thought it was interesting. I was in an Indian restaurant.
Girly tea.
Yeah.
I like Indian restaurants, because Indian restaurants, I don't know. This is like a silly thing to say, but restaurants are not primarily designed to feed you. They're primarily designed to take money off you. Aren't they? But
Yeah.
Indian restaurants, it's the same as the Chinese. They go, do you know what? Just eat as much as you want. We don't care. Just have this and have this and have this and have this.
Well, I mean, they don't put.
It's not a set price.
It's a kind of food that they don't have to put a whole lot of meat into it, right? Because it's generally sauce based, curry based kind of thing. Yeah. So they can make it looks like a lot, but there's not a whole. Yeah. And it's fine. It's usually plenty to eat. But I'm with you. You usually have leftovers from an Indian restaurant. I do like Indian quite a bit.
Yeah, and one of the things that we were just talking earlier on about the planning stages of this massive trip, and one of the things they come out with the company that I've been talking to about the trip is that majority of the food which is going to be provided will be vegetable based for obvious reasons. There's not an awful lot of animals up the mountain to kill and eat, so be prepared to become a vegetarian for a month so you lose weight. So there you go.
There you go. Well, good morning, Stickler, Cliffy, Jimmy, Bonzi, Gator, Odd Dog. Who else? Zemke. Yeah, you've been here for a while. You go home now. You eat like killer whale. That's a great. What is that guy's name? I think he's died actually. He's a really heavy comedian back in the '90s or early 2000s. Very funny guy. Had like a cherubic kid face, as I recall.
Oh, I know the guy you mean. Yes, I watched his YouTubes.
Yeah, he was really big, and a lot of his jokes were around his weight. And I think he's actually ended up dying because of the obesity and complications. Oops. Speaking of restaurants and eating, we went out the other night, and it's a friend of ours, couple that owns the restaurant. So we go there quite a bit. It's an Italian restaurant, really nice. But it's standard Florida nice Italian. You can go in shorts and flip flops, but it's good food. Anyway, I go there and I order. It's called Fra Diavolo, which is Diavolo, which I believe means devil in Italian. But it's spicy spaghetti essentially. I get it all the time. And it's shrimp, so it's generally shrimp. But you can add stuff. You can add chicken. Every occasion, now and again, I throw Italian sausage on top of that. Because what I do, because I'm a proper old person, is I eat all the shrimp out of it.
Yeah.
Eat about half the noodles, as you said, because of the amount of food. Eat a couple of sausages, because I don't like leftover shrimp very much. So shrimp's gone. I eat that. Eat some of the noodles. Leave the sausage, and then take home half of it, and then I've got another meal. Now I've got my sausage, spicy sausage spaghetti.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
that's a good way of doing it. That actually.
Yeah, Food Runner brings it, pops it in front of me. We're chatting because there's like 8 of us there, and she's gone. I look down, and all I have is shrimp.
Ooh.
I'm like, whatever. So I eat it. When she comes back, I'll just tell her to take the upcharge off from the sausage, because I'm happy to have just leftover noodles as well. It's no big deal. So I tuck into that. I've eaten almost every shrimp. She comes back, and I'm like, hey, can just do me a favor, take off. I didn't get the sausage, just take it off the bill, and all good, right? She said, oh, okay. She runs off, so I'm still chatting, eating. Next thing I know, she comes over and she's got another plate. She's like, oh, they gave you the wrong one. She takes that and puts it down. I'm like, yeah, but I already ate that. She's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right.
Okay, that's 2 meals then.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it going, yeah, I can't.
Can you back it up for me? Because I can't eat all this.
But isn't that interesting? Because some places you would go and it would run the gamut, really, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's even some places that would maybe still try to charge it for you because they made it. I don't think there's many.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many of those. Most would just take it off. But and I was considering it because I don't know if maybe, because I know that waitress knows we know the owners. We're not we're not like the best of buddies, but we're pretty good acquaintances.
You know them, yeah.
Yeah, we know them pretty well. Yeah. We've been over to their house for dinner and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm like, man, I hope I didn't stress her out, because all I wanted was just take the charge. I don't care, just take it off. Take the upcharge off because I didn't get it. But I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, I've got a lot of respect for. I mean, back in my younger days, before I joined the military. I didn't have any real work experience. I'd worked in a couple of places, as you do as kids, earning a few dollars here and there, waitering and all that lot. A lot of respect, because they're long hours and you get abusive customers 90% of the time.
Oh, their stories are wild.
Yeah. So a lot of time. And so she probably felt quite bad for you and felt, bad enough that I'm going to go back.
Well, I don't want them to get in trouble either, right? It's like
That's right, yeah.
So hopefully, and I think the owners are like this. I think basically they're okay with honest mistake, make it better, and all that.
Yeah.
I was not fishing for another plate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
get charged for one. That is not. But then you feel like that when it shows up. You're like, that's not what I meant to have happen here. Like I don't want to gouge them. I want to pay a fair price for the stuff that I get.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if there's any fair prices at restaurants these days, but that's a whole different story.
No.
Good God. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought so. Yeah, like who just said it?
So did you take it all home then?
I did. Yeah. And I had extra 2 meals out of that one.
See, that's the thing about the States, which is slowly catching on over here, is that if you can do that without shame, you can say, "Oh, can you bag up the rest of the meal, please, because I can't finish it," and take it home. It's an accepted practice. Well, in the UK, you get 1 or 2 choices, or you're used to it. It's starting to change now. You either ate it or you left it. You never bagged it and took it home. Never. You know what I mean? It's like an embarrassment factor. You can't eat what was provided. Therefore,
really? Oh wow.
Yeah. It has started to change in the last few years.
Like, dude, I paid for it, man. This is
this
is now my food, bro.
No.
Now I suppose they don't.
It's not an accepted thing.
I suppose they don't have to give you something to carry it in. Maybe I'll bring my own Tupperware.
Yeah, that's the thing in the UK, because it's not a known thing. Restaurants don't have cardboard boxes or paper bags or whatever to take the stuff home. So but it is changing slowly but surely. There are some restaurants now who will do that for you.
Yeah, Louis Anderson, that's the guy's name. That's it,
Louis Anderson. Yeah.
And I try to be very kind to wait staff, because my kids did it, my wife did it. I have several friends who are restaurateurs and they do it. Like this couple, they're actually out on the floor. They don't. It's not we own a restaurant, we stay home and we hire a manager. They're actually owner operators.
They're on the job.
They're there. Yeah. And he'll run around and he'll fill water. Now he'll do whatever needs to be done.
Well, it's all part of the job, isn't it?
As will she. They're just fantastic people, man. And I try to treat wait staff, especially wait staff, and it's not a treat me like a king thing. It's like, if you're pleasant and relatively quick, and if there's an issue, you just say, hey, honest with me. Hey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
then I'm happy to tip well. In fact, I left her extra money for that because if something was going to come out of her check on that, I don't know what their procedure is.
Yeah,
so.
whatever the policy is, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so I left her extra tip on that one. But there you go.
So you're just a nice man. Deep down in that gruff exterior of yours, you're just a nice geezer, aren't you, really? That's where it's at.
I try to be. I think I
Well,
I think I
here's the other
fail.
reason why.
I think I fail a lot, especially in the way I present myself to people. But I try to be.
Well, there you go. Because I saw what could be the violent side of Guido on our trip to Tankfest when we had that muppet came up giving it loads of large. You know what I mean? You just basically towered over him and almost threatened to bury him 7 foot down. You know what I mean? He was just
Yeah,
like, he
that was a
didn't
little
know
bit
the
stupid
message.
though because I'm glad he wasn't one of these guys who. I put myself in a position I could have got clocked and not seen it coming.
Well, no, it wouldn't have happened because I would have put him away well before he got anywhere near you. So that's
Well, I mean, he was right. I got up in his space, so I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, there you go.
Anyway, let's change the subject.
There
On
you
the
go.
waitering side of things,
Yeah.
the other two good reasons, or the other two people within a restaurant you don't want to offend, is the chef and the waiter.
See, now
Or
this is a
waitress.
great conversation because this is one of my rules of restaurant eating, which is
Right,
why,
because you know what?
which is why, yes, which is why when she came back, I didn't say take this plate back and give me what I
Yeah.
ordered.
Yeah.
Let's just cut my losses, take it off the upcharge
Sure.
thing. That's fine.
Sure.
I'm paying for what I got. I'm happy with this because exactly what you're about to tell us, which is what
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
to your food when you take it back.
Cliffy's hit on the nail. Cliffy's hit the head.
Yeah.
The nail on the head. Absolutely. And those two people can ruin your day.
/ other things.
Yes. Yes. I have seen the YouTube videos. Not that I go searching for that sort of thing. It just happened to pop up, you know.
Yeah, because my wife and my kids both have stories from kitchens on staff that got pissed off with a customer.
Things that
and
happen.
They your food is not the same.
No.
So I'll just cut my losses.
It has ingredients that are not on the menu.
Yeah, especially if it's just really bad service, I'll just cut my losses. And it just informs on a next visit or not.
Yes.
Cut my losses, get out. You know.
That's it. Just go with it. Be nice and just never go back there again.
Yeah. I went into there's a place across from the bar that we go to on Thursdays from the pub, and they got burgers and fries and this, that, and the other. And I would not say it's the cleanliest place, but the food's pretty good. If you want fried or burgers or a fish sandwich or generally gumbo. But anyway, one of the first times me and Natso went in there was right before we were going. This is years ago, probably 8 years ago. And we were gonna eat there first and then go to the pub. So we go in. So it's early afternoon. It's a very late lunch or a very early dinner. That kind of transition time, right? Because they're open for
Yeah.
lunch and dinner. So we go in, we sit down, we're ordering, and I notice that they have gumbo. They're a sort of New Orleans style. They have some New Orleans stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, gumbo sounds good. So I look at her and I'm like, I'll have the gumbo, and she goes, I don't know if we have any more left. And I said, well, do you have? I don't know. Is there enough for one bowl or whatever? She's like, I don't know. So she looks back. It's a very small place. Looks back to the kitchen and says, hey, Carl, or whatever the hell his name was then. I don't remember. She goes, I think we have one enough for 1 cup of gumbo. Can you check? And so he kind of looks out like this, and you see him, and you kind of he's looking out, and then you can see he reaches and he goes like this, and he's, the wall's here, but I can see he's looking into the pot, and he closes it, he looks back there, he goes,
Really? That's not a sale. That is not a sale. Brilliant.
he gave the face, is like, you do not want any of this. And I'm like, I will not have the gumbo, thank you.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And that's the kind of honesty you want right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl, yeah, Kedge, they're all called Carl. Chefs are all called Carl, aren't they?
Yeah. That was funny. All right, fellas. Well, welcome. Everybody's chatting. Namara, how you doing? Triple M is here as well. Awesome. All right. Channel news. What do we got going on? So I dropped a Panzer Corps 2 video late last night because I forgot to set it up, but I edited and did all that crap. Pretty long video, but it's me just playing the first mission. I quite like that game. I enjoy it. It's nice to sit down to a turn-based game, and you can just play for a while, and if you got to leave, you can save the game, and out you go.
Okay, that
So,
sounds interesting.
If you're turn-based war game kind of guy in the past, maybe you've walked away from that. Highly recommend it. It's only $15 on Steam. Quite easy to get into. It feels like it's very complicated. It really isn't. I think it strikes a balance between some good depth, which keep you coming back for more, and ease of accessibility. It's not that hard to figure out. The tutorial is fantastic. Go through those missions. It'll tell you exactly how to play it. Panzer Corps 2.
Panzer Corps.
C-O-R-P-S, as in a core.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Not as in a center.
Yeah, got you.
Yes, and it is the spiritual successor of Panzer General. If you played Panzer General, you'll recognize it. It has 3D graphics, so it's updated that way, which looks pretty cool.
Right.
And it has
that was always the thing about turn-based games in the past, that it just felt very
old,
linear.
Very old,
Very old, yeah.
Yeah. So the graphics are cool, and they got little things, attacks and stuff, which is nice. Good sounds, all that stuff. And there's a bunch of DLC, so you can buy different campaigns. There's a full campaign where you go through. You start in Poland, and I did the cheat we talked about last week, where I just gave myself 5 million experience or prestige, so I could just repair and buy all the way through. Which makes you play the game a little different. So it's good to sort of learn the game in terms of specific movements of units and what does well against some things. It will give you bad habits because it kind of makes you ignore losses at times because you know you can repair them. Like you'll attack, take a big loss, and then just next turn throw a bunch of elite recruits back at it, and you're back to full strength. And that will make you do some wrong things. But in terms of enjoyment and just going through and checking it out, that's a good way to do it. There lots of DLC, like I said, lots of different campaigns that will break down other areas like North Africa, and if you want to do a big France campaign or a big Battle of the Bulge campaign.
Are the DLC's expensive, or
they're anywhere from 5 to 15 as well. So I mean,
that's all right. Yeah.
Yep. Less than a premium tier 8 tank.
Well, there you go. I mean, what we spend on this particular game.
Less, and we will get to this later, than a 3D style.
Nay! Yes, we will get to this later. We will. Isn't it interesting, wargaming, this last update? It's been plenty interesting to chat about, this is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 100 Battle Challenge.
Forward to this coffee talk.
100 Battle Challenge coming along. Patton KR, AAT-60, the Vickers, the Galwika. The tier 7s and 6s are back on the table because we've got a new battle pass, so until I get to 100 points and max those out, things like I'm still working on
this. What do you think of the Patton KR? I hated the Patton KR. I don't know why.
It's how have I been putting this? I say it's so average it's pretty good. Right? I'm not claiming it's good. Right? I'm not claiming it's good or awesome, but it's so average, it does so many things that it's almost pretty sort of decent.
Yes, in that respect.
Yeah.
Like in that warped way of thinking. Yes, that works for me then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to say good things. I don't hate it with a passion.
Oh, I didn't hate it. I just never ever got on with it at all. It was just.
Well, it's so average, man. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not going to do anything so awesome that you're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. But at the same time, it's not going to fail you just sucking completely. You know, it's got great gun depression, decent mobility.
Oh, yeah.
Turret is, I wouldn't say it's reliable, but it can get you some bounces. So if you are doing some hold down stuff, on occasion, same tier, lower tier, you might be getting some bounces out of it. Decent view range. I don't know. It just, the whole is better than the parts, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those tanks that has its situational play, has its day, but it's not. You see, I need all the advantages I can get to be able to do anything right. So it doesn't give me any advantages at all.
Yeah, you're not going to run around and just absolutely dominate. And I say all that with a 48% win rate at
Yeah.
only 27 battles, but
All right.
I don't hate it anyway. Let's see, Panzer Corps, I'm messing around with that. We already talked about that. Still doing some DCS, and that's pretty much it for channel news, I think. I did do a DCS video a couple weeks back. I still have some stuff. Oh, Brute, speaking of that, how you doing? Good morning. We did some flying last Monday. And
Cool.
that's it for channel news, unless you have something. You are, so he's mentioned a little bit, he is still planning to climb parts of Everest in the area
Yes.
of Everest.
How it comes about now is that I think I explained this last time, but I'll bring you all up to date. Is that to climb the summit of Everest, you have to have a number of qualifying climbs under your belt, which then you have to provide evidence for with your climbing logs, and that then gives you the license. Basically, the Nepal government give you a license, then you can climb Everest. And everything else that comes with that, so your insurance is valid and all the rest of it. So if you don't have a qualifying climbs, you've got to get it in. Well, I've got 2 out of the 3 that I need, because I did Monte Bianco some years ago. I did the Naval Horn and I've done a few other places. But to get the 3rd mountain in, it would have to be something like, well, at least above 5,000 meters, at least 20,000 feet. So between now and when I want to do Everest, it's not going to be possible for a number of reasons, including time and cost. So what we've decided to do, or what I've decided to do, and the group will be told this when we have the next meeting, is that we're going to do Nepal Base Camp, which is 18,000 feet, which is Everest Base Camp. And then we're going to go and climb a little hill somewhere just to get a further acclimatization. And then after that, we're going to go and do what's called Island Peak, and it is 20,000 feet. 20,000 feet. So we're going to go from 18 to 20. So 18,000 feet at Nepal base camp, Everest Base Camp. It's called EBC, to Island Peak. And the reason why it's called Island Peak is if you do climb Everest and you look across the mountain ranges, Island Peak sits in a glacier. So it comes out of a glacier. So it's surrounded 360 by glaciers. So it looks like an island on a sea of ice, which is technically what it is, I guess. So that's why it's called Island Peak. And you can virtually scramble, walk, hike, trek to the ice wall. And then when you get to the ice wall, that's when the actual climb starts on the peak. So it's it takes about a day and a half, 2 days to get to base camp ice wall on the Island Peak. So we're going to do that. We'll get to base camp overnight and then get up at, this made me laugh actually when they were explaining it to me. We get up at early o'clock when it's still dark because we want to climb to the peak while the snow is still frozen. He says you don't want it turning to slush past midday because that makes things slightly more difficult. So yeah, of course it does. Anyway, so we're up early o'clock and then the ice wall itself is proper ice axe, ascenders, carabiners, ropes, the whole works. Once you get over the top of the ice wall, quote unquote, what the lady was telling me, it's just a 10-meter jaunt to the summit. Now, 10 meters on 50% oxygen is not a jaunt, but that's how I'm going to pitch it to the group. They're not going to know this. So they think, oh, it's just a bit of a jolly. So yeah, so at 20,000 feet, I will then.
That sounds.
That
sounds like some fairly technical ice climbing stuff.
Yeah. Done a bit. I've done a bit, so I've just got to refresh some skills. That's all.
Yeah, but what about these other lot?
Well, they'll just, you know what? Climb or fail, isn't it?
All right.
I'm not going down for them if they fail. They can.
All right, so
they can just hang.
This sounds like. First of all, it sounds like a movie is probably going to be made of this.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the book by Bill Bryson called A Walk in the Woods.
Right.
Where he decides he's going to walk out of the blue, just decides he's going to go walk the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
And the trials and tribulations of that. Yeah. You've seen it?
I think, does he end up in a bus? Is that the geezer?
Yeah, I think so. At the end, end. But
yeah.
Katz is his sidekick, and the deal with Katz is he puts this out on I think Facebook or something. He puts it out that he wants to go on this trip, but he's looking for a partner. So he starts asking all his various relatives and friends. You may find this familiar. And most of them looked at him like he was a crazy man and said, absolutely no freaking way in hell. And some guy that he knew in high school back in the day, who was a relatively good friend but had lost contact with, or really hadn't contacted much, the last name of Katz, K-A-T-Z.
Oh, okay.
Says, I'll go, sure. He's like, great. So this book is, now he's a travel writer. He lived in the UK for a couple decades and did a lot of writing in the UK. In the UK, he would write about the differences between the US and the UK. And then when he came back, he kind of did zip that back around, differences between the US and the UK, and then travel writing and all that. But this was more of an autobiographical thing about his attempt to walk the Appalachian Trail. So when Katz shows up, you know, he coordinates this, and he just assumes that Mr. Katz can walk, like can hike some reasonable amount, right? As in, you are assuming that your crew has any idea which end of a carabiner or which the spiky shoes or whatever they're supposed to put on, right? Which they don't. None of them have a clue. No. So Katz, the airplane lands, and he's telling the story, and it's one of these, you know, stairs coming down because it's a smaller airport. Katz comes off, and he's about 280, 300 pounds.
Right, okay.
You know, bad knee, bad attitude, and it's hilarious how it all goes down. It's a great book if you haven't read it. But I'm getting
I might dig it out.
Yeah, I'm getting you might want to as part of research, so you can understand the crew that you're about to bring with you.
Yeah, well, you see, my caveat to all that is right now they are novices. They've not even climbed the hill because they live in Cambridgeshire and it's very flat, as you know here. There's no lumpy bits in the landscape.
Yeah.
Right. So my caveat to that is they've got 3 years to get used to all that lot and teach themselves and get fit and all the rest of it. I've given them 3 years. This is my expedition. If they want to tag on the back and not do the training.
Do you suppose even one of them has even started walking?
No, not at all. We mooted the idea nearly a month ago, and they're all up for it. But not one of them as yet has ever, you know, WhatsApp me going, I did 10 miles today. More like 10 minutes on the rowing machine or something. That's about it. But I don't, you know, they will get full information. If they match the aspirations, they can do it.
Right.
Otherwise, we leave them like the 2 Italian climbers 3 years ago, who were found dangling off the ice shelf dead.
Yeah.
Because they abseiled down to the end of the rope and didn't have any more rope to go any further down.
Yeah.
So that's the 7 P's, isn't it? Prior planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Kedge, I would recommend any of Bill Bryson's, and Sutek is correct. That is it right there. All of his books are awesome, but in particular, I very much love The Walk in the Woods. It's very funny, but he also has compilations of his articles, multiple of those, both in the U.S. and the U.K. They're also good reads, and they're shorter because they're articles for papers or journals and things.
Bill Bryson, I've heard.
Bill Bryson. Well, yeah, he lived in there. He wrote for, I don't remember which paper, one of the papers in England.
I have heard.
Well, he was syndicated, so he may have been in multiples. Hilarious, very funny guy.
When it comes to writing a book, I'm keeping a diary.
All right.
So I've started already. So
good. Over
the next 3 years, I'm when I get back, if I get back, if I'm not dead on the mountain, I will write a book, and I'll send you first edition, my friend. If I'm not dead on the mountain like that.
He'll be dead on the mountain when he comes. He'll be dead on the mountain when he comes.
In place
He'll be frozen on the mountain. They'll be falling down the mountain.
Oh, awesome. I will write the book.
Not a single damn one of them can climb a mountain when they come. All right.
Be able to by the time we get there.
So Coffee Talk has to at least last 3 years more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it may turn into Pilgrim climbing a mountain talk.
Yes, it might do. I'll keep you all updated. Not every week because things don't happen that quick. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like the next meeting I'll have now will be 22nd of September.
That's a lot of planning. Yeah. As you well know, in an operation that size, you got to have some damn planning.
Yeah, I mean, the first things first is, well, apart from fitness and experience and all the rest of it. First things first is a packing list, isn't it? What do we need to take? So, I mean, I discussed this before the meeting as well. I was thinking about things because when you're under a huge, I mean, don't forget this is 6 to 8 hours trekking, hiking a day. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
severe with minimal oxygen going in.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take medication to help you with the oxygen intake and all that sort of stuff, but that you really need to acclimatise. So at the end of the 8 hours, you get to a tea house. They're called little tea houses. They have little, sort of 5-man rooms set up that are run by Sherpas, Nepalese, and everything. So you get a warm fire, a cup of tea, and something to eat each evening. But when you're there, the great thing about that sort of arduous activity, anybody who does arduous activity will understand that the smallest, slightest little thing of luxury gives you a massive morale boost.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is that and I've done this in the past. You have a little package of something for each end of each day. So for me, it'd be a piece of Kendal mint cake, small piece of chocolate, maybe one of those coffee sachets, caramel coffee or mocha or whatever it might be. And I just make myself a little treat, maybe some powdered milk, just to make a milky caramel coffee. And you have that, and it's like pure luxury, absolutely. And it gives you a massive boost, right? So I'm sitting eating breakfast with the house general. I've already told her I'm doing this. Her response to I'm doing this 3 weeks ago was, yep, and then carried on eating her breakfast, right? So it didn't go anywhere.
She didn't think she'd ever hear about it again.
Yeah, she's like, whatever, I don't want to know. So anyway, so I'm explaining to her that, right, I'm going to make like 23 or 30 of these little packages. She went, how many? I said, well, about 23 or 30. It's going to be, over the whole of the expedition. She went, how long are you going to be away for? And I went, well, it'll probably be about a full month. And she went, a month? And she's like, how am I supposed to get to work for that month that you're away? And I went, you've got 3 years to plan that. I don't know. And you can't just fly to Everest, climb it, and come back the next day. Oh, I love it a bit, bless her.
Well, fellas, stay tuned for Pilgrim Climbs the Mountain, my friends. Stay tuned. Kedge, yeah, Woods therapy. I like to do that as well. All right, let's go on to missions and specials, man. It's time to chill a little bit. Get the old blue light special.
You need new batteries, dude. Look at that.
I know it's a little bit slow.
That's terrible.
A little bit slow.
Put some Duracells in there.
All right. Who wants to buy some 3D styles? You guys want to buy some 3D styles? Dude. So they are selling these. Let me get this going here. Into the premium shop we go, my friends. What do we got? Well, here's something. Czechoslovakia. There are no offers in this category yet.
No, of course it wouldn't be.
Is there maybe there's some kind of event potentially coming up for the Czech Premium TD that just got another change in Super Test? Don't know. I don't know why that's there. Featured, we got the Bisconte, we have the KTTS, and the Breton Panther. I think there is a premium light as well, Cliffy, you're right. Yeah, that didn't show up. Good call. That's right.
I was just going to say, well,
there is a premium light.
Where is it?
Yeah, we got the lights, but we don't have the premium. Maybe that's for the premium light. I don't know.
It seems to be something they've missed a trick, because that would be another one. Well, that's their selling point, isn't it? The premium light for the light checks.
Well, there was some discussion about some boxes potentially coming as well. So I don't know. I know nothing, but we'll check back on this later. All right. Anyway, Battle Pass. Actually, there is a thing for Battle Pass. I'll show you that in a minute. Gold, there's nothing big there. Premium Watt Plus, sure. Why not? Vehicles. Nothing. These are all the standard vehicles. Howsomever, styles. They're 3D. It says so right there.
Yeah.
Why? It's a rhetorical question. But it still is a question that should be asked. a question
Well,
rare.
Ash, let me ask the question.
All right, you ask the question.
Why, Guido? Why? Please, enlighten us. Why,
Well-
community advocate?
Well, my why is why. Again, it's a rhetorical question, but why is the Tier 10 3D style more expensive than the Tier 8?
Yeah, I mean, we could go down that road. That Tier 10s are so much more valuable, so much more premium, so much more the end game. So to have the end games, you have
Yeah.
to pay more for it. Yeah.
I guess the same question could be asked about why a Tier 10 and a Tier 8 are more expensive as the tanks themselves.
Because it doesn't cost. Well, it probably. Yeah, you're right, Cliffy. 10s are more pixels. That's what it is.
More pixels.
A lot more pixels. Yeah.
Yeah, I find I
'Cause,
just
a lot of 3D styles have those bolt-ons like boats and
Yeah.
oxygen tanks and machine guns. They're extra pixels that you're paying for. That's what it is.
well,
There you go.
there is an argument there. I think the 10's a Tier 10. It's a higher tier. It's a more powerful tank, despite the fact that it also sees more powerful tanks. That's a whole nother subject. But in terms of 3D styles, I don't see any really logical reason. And what's funny here is this is a Tier 6, and it's 12, and here's a Tier 8, and it's 12.
Yeah.
So apparently
So the
there
difference between 6 and 8.
apparently there is a minimum they're willing to sell them for.
Right.
I would
Yes.
bet you that price is closer to the cost of getting them done. When you
Yes.
start talking
Give it-
about
give it-
manpower
yeah,
and
give
all
it-
that stuff.
Yeah.
So when they do their
Yeah.
calculations, I bet 12 is a closer price to the sunk cost of developing the 3D style.
Now, you've got to think about this. You've got to think, right, let me take my glasses off because I'm going to think about this. If it was $12 for a 3D skin for that particular tank, yes, each one of those tanks that you buy will have a 3D skin applied to it. You have to pay for that. But the actual cost of developing it, let's say it was $10 to develop it. Well, that's just one development. They don't do it every time you buy it. So they
Oh, agreed.
$10.
Yeah, there's a yeah.
So-
Well, they'll price the
Wow.
individual units, and then they'll make an estimate of how many are going to be sold,
Yeah.
so that they can cover the cost, basically manpower, also equipment, because it takes computers and staff and
Yeah.
all this shit that
Yeah.
the artists and
All
the
the overhead.
graphic artists and the
Yeah.
QC guy, everything at QA, everything it takes to do this kind of thing. Obviously, if you, I think probably most of the 3D styles basically cost the same. The ones that are more complicated, that have more shit thrown on them, might take a little more development time. So that's hourly wages for people so they might be, technically more expensive. But that doesn't seem to be what's going on here. They're not doing it that way. They're doing it by tier.
No. Yes.
And it is relatively random. I
Yeah.
mean, here's a $19 one for a Tier 8.
Yeah.
Here's a $27 for a Tier 10, another 27.
See,
Here's a Tier 10 that's $4 less.
Yes, because they're also, the sales team are also saying this is considered by them a little bit more, if not rare, a little bit more unique. So we can sell it for more because it's supposedly harder to get, but it's not, is it? It's really not. It's nothing,
And that may all be what they do. They have a meeting, they go and they do that. But as the customer, when I look at these prices, it just seems random. Other
Yes.
than
Yeah.
sort of the higher tier ones are more expensive, but not exactly. I don't know.
That's equivalent to going box of Q-tips, right?
Yeah.
That's equivalent of going, I'll sell you that for $1. Hang on, that one, I'll sell you for $1.50. All right, because that's in my left hand. In my right hand, if you get a right hand one, that's $1. Left hand one is $1, but that's bullshit, isn't it? Absolute bullshit pricing. Well done, Wargaming.
Yeah. We talked about it a lot. It actually fascinates me because I'm not privy to what the electronic companies or the digital companies
how it's priced.
How they do it, yeah. What are the inputs? Obviously, profit has something to do with it. I think there's a lot of profit in selling really any of the pixels. The thing about the styles
Of course it is.
the things about the styles is they don't affect the gameplay at all, right? So there's no bonus to this style.
No, it's just visual, isn't it? It's a
Right.
visual thing.
Like buying a premium tank could affect the game and its balance depending on which premium tank it is and
Yeah.
how good it is. So in order to sell a premium tank, they generally have to make it better these days
Yeah.
or have some hook to it that's good in game, which can cause issues in the game. These are pure cosmetics, don't have any impact on the game, but they also have interesting pricing going on.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it's for me, and I understand overheads. I understand that somebody has to sit at a computer and tap a keyboard or whatever it might be, work a mouse, etc. So that person's time is what we're paying for. We're not paying for the development of anything because 99% of it is already being developed. They're just doing little changes to make a 3D skin look slightly different because it's just a line of code.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think they would call it development because they're making the item. No, I'm with you. I'm tracking what you're saying.
So it's just like, how do you price that? All you do, you price the time. I don't think there's a price to a pixel. It's a price to a human
Oh,
being's time.
it's purely the cost, the
Yeah.
business cost
Yeah.
of making that
Yeah.
3D style and all the things around making that happen.
I've
Cliffy,
never
I don't
heard
know.
that before, Guido.
What's that?
Banzai says it's like buying underwear. The only person who really enjoys it is you. Unless you wear it outside your trousers like Superman, and then everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, it might be the cost at time. I'm not sure when all these came out and whether I can see that in this little data set here, but that's a possibility. The newer ones could, because theoretically the labor costs and whatnot are higher now, so there might be some of that. Free balling. Anyway, so there are two 3D styles for sale, fellas. There you go. And then the other interesting thing was this Czechoslovakia deal that doesn't have anything. Let's go over and check something here. Is there anything here on the events? No. So that doesn't say Czechoslovakia or anything. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you is in the store. We have some missions that are available for gold for Battle Pass, and it is, where's Battle Pass? Right here. All right, so it's the third one down. And this is the standard stuff, tokens, points. But if you look at the bottom down here, we've got Battle Pass reinforcements and supply lines. Now, reinforcements is 3,000 gold. It gets you a character and successive missions, which get you a 2D style, 500 bonds, personal training manual, universal manual, and 3 training booklets for each nation. That's a lot of booklets. It's 3,000 gold, which is pretty pricey. The character is a 0 skill, I believe. Does it say here? 0 perk Brothers in Arms, and enough crew XP for 2 more perks. So that's a 0 skill, and then she'll have 2 more perks. That's whatever her name is here.
Just run through that again, because I'm trying to find it actually.
If you go to store,
got it.
and then
Yeah.
Battle Pass, third one down, I think, and then
Third one
at the
down.
2 bottom ones.
That's why.
Yeah, the
yeah,
2 bottom
yeah,
ones.
Got it.
Now,
Yeah.
reinforcements, fellas, does not give you any Battle Pass points or extra Battle Pass points. It's
Oh.
basically selling bonds, a character, and training booklets
Oh yeah. You
in a
read
2D
it, yeah,
style,
you read
which
it, yeah.
whatever. Now,
500 bonds. Yeah.
and you can do it 3 times. So you can
Which is
you can have
9,000 gold.
you can have 3 Zing Chais.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Supply.
I love the way that they say it's been discounted
Yeah,
from a price that is
yeah.
not real.
Otherwise, it would have been
3 lots of
7,500 or so.
Yeah.
7,000. gold.
7,500.
Oh, there it is. 7,500. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's such a BS thing.
That's useful to them.
Oh, it's discounted 60%. Just sell it for 1,500, guys. Come on. What a crock of shit. All right. This one does have Battle Pass points. So it gives you 3 missions for 1,500 gold. Each mission done is 100 Battle Pass points. That's 300 battle pass points, which will be good for 6 battle pass levels. Remember,
Supply Lines has missions.
they both have missions, but this one,
Oh, right.
Supply Lines, is the only one that gives you extra battle pass points. But you don't have a character involved. It's Watt Premium Days, and it gives you personal reserves.
Okay. Actually, that seems to be a better buy, to be honest. Because if you bought that 3 times, you get 9 days premium out of it, and plus all the rest of the stuff. So, in real terms, the cost of premium time is well exceeded by is it?
Yeah, but once you spend 4,500 gold, what have you spent?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Once is a good one, I think. 3 days of premium, plus however the price, everything else.
Yeah, $21 for 9 days of premium and the other goodies.
Yeah.
Which would give you 18 levels, which is kind of closer to. Remember, they used to have these. There was a mission set that would end up giving you enough for 10.
That's right.
Remember
yes.
that? And it was
Yeah.
$10,
Yeah.
not 21 bucks. So it was $10, and you get 10 extra
I've just bought it.
and a character. So it was a great
Yes.
deal.
It
But
was a great deal.
These
then,
are
yes. Yeah.
these are well worse than that. Well worse than that. And there's 2 different ones. So I think these are lame. But there you go. There you go. They're lame. They're lame. Wargaming. They're lame. However, if you're sitting on a stack of gold, once again, as we always say, right, Pilgrim, it's you have the resources. What are you sitting on them for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why keep a great big pile of gold up there when it's not doing you any good?
When
You
you
can't
can-
change it for dollars.
Yeah. When you consider what a great deal, if you did this and you have a couple 100,000 sitting around because you're a whale and you spent a bunch of money at Christmas to get all the extra gold, you're really not spending that dollar amount on your 3,000 gold because you got such a deal on the gold. So it's to taste.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've just done it. I've just got the Supply Lines one. So.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
They'll give you a little boost. Give you a little boost on your whatever it is, battle pass stuff.
Battle Pass, yeah. Missions. Got new missions out of it.
All right, what else we got?
Supply Lines Episode 1. Right, conditions for Supply Lines Episode 1, Part 1. Top 10 players on your team using the following parameter: experience earned, not difficult. Complete all conditions on each of the 2 battles. That gets you a whole wodge of battle pass points and all the other stuff. Crew books, improved personal reserves. Then episode part 2, enemy vehicle. Destroy 1 enemy vehicle. Okay. I think most of us can enjoy that one.
Yep.
And then part 3, be top 10 on your team by damage caused. Quite possible for most people. And then do it twice to get everything else. So, not difficult missions at all.
Somehow I got logged out for some weird reason. So I was looking at all that with the logged out part. All right. Show also too, and in addition to, we have, this is a article on the main page. Now, some of you might have old accounts laying around. I'm assuming this works. I don't see why it wouldn't, but they have a invite old players back thing going on.
Oh, okay.
So theoretically, you could invite yourself back or other people you know. There's a link right here. You copy it. What you get are a day of premium submissions and 2 expirable reserves for plus 50%, which is whatever. What they can get are rentals for the CS52C, the Batchat Barras AT60, and Tiger Mouse. They will eventually, I think, because I don't think there's missions, they'll get 750,000 credits, 7 days of premium, and the improved Battle Pass chapter Dark Horizon.
Right.
I don't know what that means. You get that anyway.
Yeah.
Does that mean improved? Oh, they're going to give you the improved Battle Pass for Dark Horizon. Check that out. That's pretty cool.
Get out. That's 2,500 gold.
Yeah.
What, isn't it?
Okay.
Ooh, I'll have to dig out my old. I wonder if that's the same on the EU, because I've got an old EU account I've not used for ever and ever. That might be worthwhile.
Yeah. I mean, even if you didn't do anything, you would still get the 750, and it'd be sitting there on your account. So, something to think about. And obviously, if you've got a friend that hasn't played in a long time and that you want to give them a little boost, that's not a bad deal, fellas. So that's out there. Give it a thought. Give it a think. Every time you click on that, I get 1 million credits.
You do. Yeah, we can see that.
I get a Brazilian.
We can see, yeah.
A Brazilian credits.
You get a free pass to Disneyland for you and your family every time somebody clicks on that.
It's one of my favorite George Bush jokes during the Iraq situation, 20 years ago.
Right.
The joke goes that he's in the ready room and the general comes in, and this is one of those because they thought he wasn't very intelligent. General comes in and says, Mr. President, yes, what is he? We've lost 3 Brazilian soldiers in Iraq. He's like, 3 Brazilian? I didn't even know we had that many.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good.
Yeah. Actually, his intelligence is now called into question in my brain based on what he just did. We'll just leave it at that. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Just a side swipe there. Straight off. Poof.
He just endorsed somebody, but there you have it. What else we got? Terminator's over. Onslaught Legend Series thing is going on. Hey, you want some merch? No.
Have we got merch? Have we?
Yeah, it's mostly backpacks. It's back to school stuff. It all has World of Tanks. So I believe you'd get your butt kicked if you went to school with these, but that's just
I mean, if you've got a 90-litre mounting rucksack, I'd have to look at it.
No. They have
I've not taken anything that says World of Tanks to the
It says
any mounting.
It says eagle-eyed on it. Eagle-eyed.
There you go.
I don't know why. I don't know why it says that. Mr. something. I don't know. Boom. Okay. And then this has symbols on it. And you got the old drink cup thing. And you got a binder. 2 kinds. Anywho's, that's out there. Fool me once, shame on me. That's right. That's it. Let me twice, won't get fooled again. There were a lot of great quotes, actually. Which, public speaking, you've done some of it, obviously.
Uh-huh.
It's easy to misspeak. And if you do as much public speaking as most politicians do, there eventually someone's going to have a clip of you saying something very stupid.
Yeah.
Now, some people excel, and every time they open their cake hole, something stupid comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people don't even need to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. What else we got? I think that's it from all this stuff. Did you know this update has a name?
No. What?
Yeah.
1.26 has got a name.
Hailstorm.
Really?
Hailstorm.
I can't get on board with all of that, I really
Hailstorm.
can't. Yeah.
Have we ever had? I think there has been a couple that were named. One was Rubicon, but it got canceled.
Right. Here's the thing, right? Here's a complete tangent. You guys name your ops with really evocative and exciting names.
Badass names. Oh yeah.
For example, Gulf War, you called it
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm and
Desert Shield, and then Desert Storm. Operation Overlord.
We have a civil servant who sits in the background of the Ministry of Defence, whose sole job it is to follow the alphabet and name each of the op that the Brits do by the alphabet with the most boring, sodding name they can think of. So Desert Storm to us was called Op Granby. When I went to Bosnia, that was called Op Grapple, because that's the next letter in the alphabet, GR. Granby Grapple, and it just went on like that. Some faceless, chinless wonder with bottle-thick glasses. Sorry if that counts to anybody watching, but sat there and went, I think we'll call it Op Granby.
Then there was Grumpy.
Yeah.
And Sneezy.
Like the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah. Boring names may be better OPSEC. Yeah, they're easier to...
True. There is that, Cliffy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You're like,
Operation
what is this?
Toenail. Nothing to do with feet.
I like how the Allies had a dead German and they just put some papers on them and tossed them into the channel with
That's cool, isn't it?
knowing that
That's
with
cool.
the prevailing flow that he would show up on a beach somewhere in France.
Yeah, yeah, with all the plans in the bag.
Yeah, for Operation Grumpy.
Yes, that's the one.
It's definitely not Overlord. It's Grumpy.
Yeah.
So Hailstorm, we've got light tanks. We'll talk about that in a minute. Revamped perk system. We'll get to that as well. Some vehicle rebalancing. Apparently the K91's really pretty good. I have seen this. I have seen a couple times the airplane run into Malinovka. I have not seen this one yet on Pilsen with the trains and the stuff falling apart.
Oh no, I haven't seen that. I've seen the airplane. I've seen the Himmelsdorf one, but I've seen the airplane.
I haven't seen that one either. What's this one?
Oh, that looks cool.
Oh no, this is Malinovka. All right. So some of those I haven't seen. Some map rebalancing. I have seen some changes to maps. There's some interesting things going on there. And then Battle Pass. Onslaught is Onslaught going on now, fellas? When does it start?
I've got it up there. No, 8 hours to go.
So it is. It is up.
It's
All right.
it's up, but
Yeah.
it's not going to start.
Yeah, it's got the
Yeah.
fence, the fenced thing. All right. So 35 days of Onslaught if you're going to do that. So consumables update, which is the fuel that's changed and that your big kits are now recharged in 60 seconds instead of 90. But obviously, as we I think all know, the big keys here are the vehicle rebalancing to some extent, but the perk system, guys, that's changed a bunch. And if you're like me, just playing tanks and don't notice that you're playing with crews that don't have their perks picked because they've been reset. I've done that several times now.
Well, I mean, a couple of the lads in the clan basically sat for 3 hours and redid all their skills. My take on this is that, I know we're going to talk about it later, is that as I come to play the tank, I'm just going to sort the crew and the skill out. So nobody wants to platoon with me because it now takes me 15 minutes to get into game. With apart from Zemke wants to platoon with me, and every time I try and platoon with him, I've either been called away for dinner or I'm going on to the EU server, so I jump out the NA without seeing his invites. So he must have a complex by now.
This, I've been waiting for this, so this is good. I like the segue here. Let me just present to you our platoon name.
Don't forget, it takes a bit of time to catch up. Revamp. I'm still on the revamp perk system. It's taking a long time to catch
Yeah,
up.
do I have that big of a delay? I must.
What setting delay you got on that? Or is it me? It's probably me, actually. 43%! If it wasn't a child-friendly channel, I might turn the air a little bit blue there. I hate playing with you.
We are
just a 43% player.
We are
You're just dragging me down, man.
officially the 43% crew.
That's nothing to do with my gameplay, by the way.
No, that is absolutely all me.
It's all you.
Yeah. If we lose, it's your fault. If we win, it's my skill.
Exactly. I just provide you with spare armor. That's all. You don't do anything with it.
We are the 40%. We actually did well the other day. I think that's old data.
Yeah, we did platoon the other day, didn't we?
That's
How did
old
we do
data.
that?
That's old data.
Oh, is it? Oh, is it
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, that's not true. There's no truth in there. Hey,
Alright.
check this out. So I sat down today. This is under the heading of, well, first of all, not paying attention, but also stupid. But let's go back here. So we're going to what? All right, so I sat down and I looked at my missions. You always have the little, up here on your missions, you always have the little red things because it won't clear. Every day for the dailies, it puts 3 new things. It's so annoying. And I have a little bit of, it's not ADHD, but
Yeah, well, you just want to clear it because you don't.
yeah, I
want
want to clear it. Whatever that, OCD, a little bit of OCD. So I come, thank you, Clippy. So I come in and I'm like, all right, let's clear this out. And I go over to dailies, right? And I go over to standard, and I notice that I have the 5 crits in a mission.
Oh,
And it was right here in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, reset that thing, and then look at the one to the right of it.
I'll be catching up soon. You'll need to tell me.
They said if you refresh that, it might come back up. Well, don't do
All
that.
right, let me try it.
We might lose you on Discord. Did you just freeze? No. Okay.
No, I can't. No, it's not. Oh, I can't see it.
It'll come up. The one to the right, Pilgrim, is the 7 crit. I had the 5 and the.
Yes! Thanks, Wargaming! You mugged me off yet again! Dang it!
I just laughed at that. Because I said, 5 crits, I hate that one. Click, and I went, 7 crits! Ah, you son of a...
Do you think there's a developer sitting there giggling to himself? He knows every time that button gets pressed, it does that. I reckon it is. I reckon there's a geezer in Wargaming going,
oh, I hate that. Good point. It is for stupid random vehicle. In fact, I probably don't want to do that because that just all that does is give me, because I only have the check vehicles. It just accelerates my grind for the new check. All right, we'll get to the check vehicles in a minute. I thought that was funny.
Can I just introduce a massive tangent here?
Yeah, 100%.
If you look over your left shoulder and look slightly down, there is a frame that keeps changing. What is that?
Oh, that's my that's my electronic.
Get out! Look at that.
Yeah, it's got all my. In the morning, I take a walk and I take a morning sunrise picture at the same spot every morning when I'm walking the dog.
Right. Okay.
Although that one happens.
Happens
to be a night thing, but yeah.
So that's an electronic picture frame, but
Yeah.
it does. That is awesome. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and it just kind of cycles through them.
Oh, I like that. And you can put new pictures on every day.
You can. Anyway. Some of them are. I don't know if this one is. I think it is. Some of them are Wi-Fi or Bluetooth enabled, so you can actually set it up to automatically download off your phone and stuff. I haven't done any of that. I just use a external disk to add it to it.
That is amazing. Yeah. I love technology. That is amazing. Obviously, I'm that old that I've not seen that before. It's probably old technology.
Dude, that's one you got to get for the Frau, and then you put all the grandchildren. You put a bunch of, and then it just cycles through it, and it's like a moth to flame. They'll just sit there and stare at it for hours.
That's a cracking idea for Christmas, isn't it?
Oh, she'd love that for Christmas. And your boy will know how to do it.
Leave me alone for days, won't she?
I would get it and then give it to your boy, and have him just load up pictures. Yeah, of the fam. Yeah. You know, his and yours and everyone, and the daughter and all that stuff.
Wow. Yes, Cliffy, the year 2000 tech. I've just discovered it. Amazing.
Yeah, that's not terribly new by any means.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry.
They are getting better. I have an older one that freezes up all the time, but that one's pretty good.
Here's my up-to-date computer. A pen and a notebook.
All right, guys, we've been at it for a little bit over an hour. We're going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to refresh my coffee, and then we'll come back to subjects du jour. So we shall return since I figure out where's the break thing. Be right back.
Offered his help to the mighty Guido to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts, and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what, if you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. To the swamplands came the mountain man to teach his wisdom and pay his due. A man with a name only known to a few. To his followers, his
All right, we are back. I think we're on subjects du jour. Let me make sure I talked about everything I wanted to talk about on missions and specials. Oh, that code I put in, BSD 2024, gets you some goodies. So if you haven't used it yet, yeah, BSD 2024, type that into your code window, and it will give you some stuff.
BSD 2024.
Yeah, it gave me... Oh, darn it. Actually, it went out. I didn't... Yeah. It's not in there because I closed the client and opened back up. But it will give you some goodies. All right. So, on to subjects du jour. Let's troll through the Armored Patrol stuff here and kind of hit up a few highlights, and then we'll get to 1.26 after we do that, because there's a lot going on with 1.26. Here's a RU project. This is something that's been discussed with World of Tanks as well, and essentially the idea is you reset a line and then you research it, and with a different prize at the end. And this is a tier 9 vehicle. You're going to reset the branch, and then when you get to the back to the tier 10, you, in this case, you get a tier 9 vehicle. This is on RU. It's not a wargaming thing as far as I know, but yes, please, I'll take that.
That's a very useful thing.
Yeah.
Why on earth don't they put that into place? Because
Yeah, give
I mean,
people...
currently, let me get it right. So you research, I don't know, a line. What, you've got to go all the way to tier 10?
Yeah, you research it once.
To tier 10.
I guess that was sort of what that's sort of what field mods were, kind of making you regrind old tanks. So there is that. But this is now I don't know what happens here. Whether they take the tanks away from you, and then you have to go through it again. Did you have to buy them again? I don't know 100% how it works. But the point is, you redo it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe it even just says here. So you reset progress of the branch. And you research it again. The branch progresses will be reset to the tier 6. So I guess that means they take the tanks away from you.
Right, yeah. So 7, 8, 9, 10, you lose.
And then you get progression points for this free tier 9 thing. So there you go. I don't know. I think that has possibilities.
Right. Cliffy said boats did that. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Posted the pic in the Discord.
The code gets you coffee, combat reserves, free and crew. Yeah, I got that. Just do it.
What? I can't go to my Discord, unfortunately, because if I do that, then our cameras go away.
Okay.
So I'll have to look at it after, kids. What pick are we talking about? Oh, is that green boots? Yeah, there's multiple bodies on that mountain. Dozens is my understanding, or more. So I don't know. That might be an interesting idea. Also, in case you want to know how to build a career in national security, it's here. These paid for articles are hilarious. Succeeding in social sciences. Okay, got it. How to win on online Plinko.
There you go. You heard it first here.
All right, looks like Mines has some potential rebalancing stuff going on.
Why? Because it just needs to be bigger. That's all. It doesn't need to be balanced.
Yeah.
Just make it bigger.
This little spider tank hang off the edge thing is bigger, so you can now shoot across to the island.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that was really a problem, but whatever. Okay. This, I'm not sure what they did other than they got rid of a bush. It says the shrub-covered position on the small isle has been weakened. Now it's harder to shoot from there at the hill slope where heavy tanks usually clash.
That's rubbish. That is terrible.
I'm assuming what it means is the hill slope to the island, or are they talking about across? I didn't know there was shots across here.
Yeah, you know when you come up the slope, if you, I can't remember when, if you're that side of the hill, not the side where the artillery hiding or the buildings, the other side. If you come up that slope, there is one bush just before you get to the slope which is usable, and then as you approach that slope, there's a rock, and then a small bush which is absolutely awesome for sniping anybody crossing from the enemy side or the heavy tanks trying to get up the hill. You can hit them on the side. You take that away, that whole position is just pointless now, going up there.
Yeah, there was a comment in there that was a good comment, like, oh, great, so take one of the only decent spots for a light tank and nerf it.
Yeah.
And then stop crossfire so that everyone has to punch each other in the face more.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, Stickler, we'll talk about some of those too. There's a big change on, what's the new one? It's a relatively new map. It's got the big castle in the middle. It's got kind of the swampy area, and then it's got the city area that they changed it out. Is it Outpost? In the light tank area, and I think both sides are the same. If you get a heavy push, I'll try to find it, but if you get a heavy push into the corner, it absolutely screws the enemy TD spot. It's untenable.
Yeah.
You just can't sit there. It's crazy. And the first time I played it, the enemy team came screaming across there, and they got in that spot. I'm like, well, we should be able to handle this. I'm like, nope, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So you have to actually push into your dip and stop them from getting into the thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So yeah, they're thinking about changes here on mines. That's super test stuff. So not necessarily immediately coming. And instead of working on more maps, let's have some more tier 3s. Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Because that's what we need, isn't it?
Yeah. The T3E2, which is a tier 3 because people play lots of those. And then we have another tier 3 because we need another version of the Stuart. Good. Yeah, sure. Why not? And then we have a tier 5 Su-100i. This is kind of cool. This is obviously a TD development off the M3 chassis, which we sent a lot of M3s to Lee's, to the Russians as part of Lend-Lease. Appreciate it, Kedge. Gift to Jimmy. Fantastic. Thanks, man. You have gifted a lot of subs to this channel, Kedge. Much appreciated. You haven't got Airfield since the update, really? Has that one changed? I think it has, actually.
Supposed to. I think the hill was changed, wasn't it? On Airfield?
Actually, I had Airfield.
If I can remember rightly.
I had Airfield. I don't think... Has Airfield changed?
I've not had it since it's supposedly changed, but I thought...
Because remember, there was some information that the whole center part was going to be completely reworked. But I didn't pay...
Yes.
I didn't fight there, so I didn't really pay close attention to what was going on over there. But it looked like the same. It was the same to me, but I don't know.
Cliffy's saying it didn't this patch.
Yeah, those are super tests. Yeah, so that hasn't actually changed. The tunnel is on... That's not Airfield. That's... The tunnel... there is an airfield there. No, not out. It's not Outpost. It's the Japanese one.
Yeah. It was called Pearl or something, wasn't it?
Pearl.
On test.
No.
But it's called something else now.
I don't know. I'm so confused. Oyster
Oyster
Bay.
Bay.
That's it. There's
yeah.
there's a tunnel on Oyster Bay now. Actually, the other thing I didn't realize, Oyster Bay, the airfield part has changed considerably. There's a bunch of bushes and low spots and shit there that are different.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's useful,
check that.
because
Yeah.
Otherwise, your light play is so restricted there. To
Yeah.
those two sets of bushes on each corner of the cliff face on the left-hand side before you hit the beach, that's the only place you can go. So it was always a known spot anyway. So now
Kedge.
you've got more.
Happens to the best of us, man. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, Pilgrim, 100%. Like you said, there's more possibilities now in the middle bit.
Making
So-
it more usable. I mean, so if you're spotted, you don't know which bush the enemy's going to be in. Really, you're going to be
Yeah, there's a few
blindsided
more.
by
Yeah.
bushes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Few
No,
more
that's
bushes.
cool. I like that idea because that whole centre area was just unusable. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Even lights couldn't use it. There was a little bit of leeway trying to get up close to the middle, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's changed quite a bit.
Good.
Yeah. So this is some kind of TD. What's 250 damage? That is a bunch of penetration. 235 for a tier 5. Wow.
Jeepers, you're joking. That
Yeah.
can't be final figures.
With APCR, 235 pen with a tier 5 APCR.
I know they're probably that'll be reworked. I think.
I mean, the standard pen's 175 at tier 5. Does that not? Am I
you
just
see that?
imagining things, or is that extremely high for a tier 5?
Oh, I'll tell you now. I'll get what is it? A TD? Tier
Yeah.
5.
I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just kind of par for the course.
Well,
Let's
let's go with something big and horrible.
T67 is at 128 and 177. That's
Yeah.
a small. That's a small gun. Let's find something that has a decent gun.
194 average pen for the Stug, Panzer 40.
Yeah,
194, 174.
the Zadimka,
SU
which is pretty hard punching, is a 150, 188. This thing is 175, 235.
That is tier 6, 7. That is. I mean, I've got.
That's fantastic. What on earth?
Awesome.
Simavente is pretty good. What's it got? 127 and 175. Yeah, it's premium. The premium rounds are barely reaching 175 pen. That has to be a typo.
Or it's not released as such yet, is it?
Look how big the barrel is, though. I don't know what caliber gun that is, but it's absolutely massive. Consider the size of the 75 millimeter that's coming out when it had the side sponson thing. Never mind this insane massive thing. That's funny. What's its speed? 45.
Slow, but a big puncher, isn't
A
it?
-9. A -9. All right, so super test though. Early days on that. None of this matters. All right. They did change steps. Yep. Oh yeah, steps on the heavy brawl area on steps. Remember where if you tried to cross?
Oh, yes, I had that map yesterday.
Yeah,
I was
that's quite different.
I was totally confused. I didn't even know where I was. I was like, this is not... Because I rushed. I was in a medium. I was in a German medium. And I was going to support the heavies. And I rushed to that little island group to get into that corner, to get out of the way of the shot. And I got there. I was like, what's all this?
Yeah.
It completely put me off. I got smashed to pieces. I was getting shot from 3 sides. Oh man!
Yeah, Grendel says he got screwed trying to get. These are the kinds of small changes that I would like to see more of faster in the game, where they just change stuff a little bit just to keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was loving it. I was laughing my head off. I was getting mullered. And I was just going, and people were pinging me, retreat from there. You know, you could do it on the wheel, retreat from there, pull back, retreat from there. I was like, how? How am I going to get back from this? Awesome.
All right.
I think I got about three 3 damage points and and a bit of spotting out there.
Czech Light Branch, we're going to talk about this. I'm on the Skoda T17. We'll get to that in just a minute.
I've not even started it, you know. I really haven't.
It's an article about all the copies of all the copy pasta premium tanks. That's where I got the code
It starts
right
at
there.
tier 7 anyway, doesn't it? So it's not a big grind. It starts
No.
at tier 7.
No, we'll talk about that because I got through the upgrades pretty quick. Now here's I think we touched on this last. We did, yeah. This is the Grom. This is the Tier 8 TD. So we discussed it earlier. Someone mentioned there's also supposedly a Czech light tank premium. So there's floating out there a light tank premium and this, both Tier 8, a premium TD. So we have a TD line and a light tank line, but we didn't get premiums with it. This is a departure. I thought it might be
This
a
is
one-off,
not
but
usual,
yeah.
is it?
So
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
done now 2 lines like this without the premium being here, and generally they did it first, so people would grind a crew and all that stuff. So I'm not sure what's going on with all that.
Which is the one that machine guns?
The
This is not. This is not.
the Czech light tanks have the little pom poms. Yeah, the 8, 9, and 10.
I heard it on game last night. I went past. Can't remember which one it was. Anyway, I went past. He was on my side. He was in the bush waiting. Clever lad. And I went past, and I just heard in the back of the speaker, brrr, like this. I thought, what the hell's that? And this enemy light tank lost about 2/3 of its health in a one-er. And I was like, that is amazing. I love that.
So it's a different look if you watch it happening in game. If your markers have the bar, and you see
Yeah, yeah.
somebody attack one of your guys,
Yeah.
or one of your guys attacks one of theirs, and you see their health
yeah.
bar, it
just
goes
goes,
yeah. So when you see one of those jump on someone, you see like you're like, oh shit! It's like a fire. It looks more like a
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it does look like a fight. Yeah.
All right. So I think we're on to 1.26 here. Yes. All right, fellas. So 1.26. Let's start with this. The Skoda in the room. What do you guys think of the T17? Jimmy says it's a good tank. I would agree with that. Battle Hits doesn't seem to know what to do with Czech lights. Yeah, I believe that. Like, what would you do? How would you figure that out? This thing is a beast. Pilgrim.
So I haven't started it yet, but so we're saying now that the T17 is overpowered for a Tech 3 tank.
I'm not going to come down on the side on the 100% that it's overpowered. I think it's a candidate. I will say,
Okay.
even if we can argue whether or not it's overpowered, it's probably overtuned, and
Okay.
at a bare minimum, it's quite good.
Right. So have we got enough gameplay to get decent stats off Tomato.com?
Not yet. They haven't shown up. It hasn't been out for quite a week, so I think next week we should. I've been checking. At least as of a few hours ago, there weren't any stats. And again, early stats are always a little inflated. But I think, and I think the consensus even from most people is this is really good. Somebody said it's like a tier 7 T25. I would agree. It's
Okay.
more like a medium. It just doesn't have as many hit points, but it does carry its camo on the move. Now I did a comparison between it and its compatriots. Well, I might as well do it here since we're talking about it. I'm going to leave this up because the first one is. I'll move my camera here in just a second too. The first one is base, and the second one is how mine is set up and what I get out of all the equipment and stuff. But let's add some similar tier 7 light tanks here. Basically things with autoloaders. I think it's the DA, right? Is the autoloader.
Right.
We have the 1375 is an autoloader, 1357, which is a quite good tank. Let's just go with those. I think it's the DA that's autoloader. If it's not, we'll go get the other one. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes, it's the DA. Okay. So let's set these dudes up. I'm gonna get them to the base model here. Top config, get rid of all this stuff. DA, same thing. Field mod's gone. And we'll do it for the 1357, which is sort of a special case because it's a light tank that was not nerfed when the light tanks got nerfed. So it is OP at tier 7, but that's okay because it's good. So what I found here, I'm just going to cover up your icon for a minute here.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. What I found here is there wasn't a whole big difference. So I'm not 100% sure why this is so good. And maybe you guys have a few theories down there. The alpha is 100, which is decent. The 1375 is 135, so they actually have more. The 90, or 1357 is only 90, but remember he carries 7 shells, and the T17 carries 5 shells. But if we come down here, what that gives us is DPM wise, it's good, a little bit better than 1375, not as good as a 17DA, and certainly not as good as 1357. So it's not a case of the DPM's great. It's good, but not great. I don't think it's necessarily a case of the accuracy is fantastic. It's 0.38, so it's right on line with the rest. The aim time is on line with the rest.
Yeah.
Now ignore the middle, this one here, because this one is with my setup. These would all get better too with good crews and all that stuff. It's got a -8 gun depression, but then so does a little bit better than these guys. So I guess that's certainly an advantage. Reloads at 10 seconds. I think this has a lot to do with it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because we got a 13, we got a 19, that's a long time, and a 15. I think this has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
No,
Grendel's saying that the dispersion is more like 0.32, 0.34. In real terms, not the stats.
I got mine set up pretty well. Mine's only 0.36. So if you put a bunch of gun handling stuff on it, it will. Yeah. But these will too. You can do that with these.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
You know what I mean? They start at 0.36 and 0.35. You start at 0.38. So I don't think it's necessarily that. Okay, so Grendel, that's a great point. So yeah, it does. It does feel like it's better. I'm gonna. Oh, I see. You put it on your second sentence there. Yeah. So that gets into conspiracy territory a little bit potentially, but yes, maybe that's some of it. It's not armor necessarily. Its speed is decent at 56, but it's slower than the rest of these. I actually have a turbo in mind to get it up a little faster to 60. Of course, the turbo on these would make them even faster, so it's not speed. And the camo is surprisingly good. It's the same, actually, as the rest of these. Now, these aren't necessarily known as the stealthiest light tanks, but they're good at 17. And you can see mine gets up to 43 with my setup. And my vision does get to max. It's not great. 370 is a terrible base. Yep. 1375 has the same base for a light tank. These two have a 390. Notice 1375 has 370. For some reason, the 1357 has 390. Sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. I don't know why, but I think.
Is it like the new car smell? Is it because it's a whole new line of tanks? People are not that clued up on how to deal with them, and also, it was mentioned earlier on. There's a lot of people ganging up together, not necessarily being in a platoon, but matchmakers putting 2 or 3 of these on each side.
Yeah.
Sort of like all go together.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's got some better hit points than all of these. That's another good one. The 1375 is 850, and the 1357 has 890. Why?
Why?
But this thing's got 900, which maybe there's some to that. But I think a lot of it has to do with this reload time, which you might look at and go, well, that's not that significant. But if you think about it in terms of the space-time gameplay in World of Tanks,
right?
At tier 7, 10 seconds is not off what I would call probably the average engagement time by much. Now, if you have a 6-second reload, then you're shooting. The theory is you can shoot every 6 seconds, but that's difficult to do unless you're just standing in face punching someone. And if you're not spotted and you can shoot every 6 seconds, that's great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the general use case in World of Tanks is probably closer to 10 to 15 seconds getting shots off, I would say. So any reload in that area, now this thing does it in 10, which means I can engage, fire my 5 shots, right? Or 2 or 3 of them, hide, get away, and within 10 seconds I have another 5 ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
faster
yeah,
than all the...
yeah.
And that gives you more flexibility in this game than, say, waiting 19 seconds or 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Because also, if you don't particularly want to engage the same enemy again, you're already quickly reloaded to move on to another part of the map straight away and get in there and get stuck in. So you can, it's an opportunistic ability. So you can look around your minimap and go, right, I'll get there now. I'm loaded. I can go. I can do it.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting that 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah. New crew skills, yes, and we'll talk a little bit about the perks and skills. I haven't done very deep dive into them yet, so hopefully we get some good info in the convo down there as well in the comments, because they can certainly be game changers. Bottom line, I'm not 100% sure why this thing is as good as it is. But it is good.
1.3, what Cliff is saying, the interclip is just enough time to let the gun settle between shoots. Again, that's the other thing. If it's got minimum bloom or minimal bloom, then you're ready to fire straight away instead of having to, wait out.
And that's what I'm talking about, Grendel. When you start talking about the standard kind of reload time in this game, it really is somewhere between 6 to 12 seconds. And you're reloading a clip tank within 10 seconds. Like you said, that means you can have a reasonable expectation of outmaneuvering them for 10 seconds and get another clip in. And it's a 500 burst damage, which is pretty significant for a tier 7 light tank.
And most shots are hitting. Yeah.
So I did read some good comments. Some people are like, man, why is this thing not? This thing should have been the tier 7 or 8 on the Skoda line, because that's kind of what it is, right? Because it's the auto loader. You could upgrade this a bit in armor and stuff, but they try to do historic stuff. I don't know, guys, what to tell you really here, but it really could have been on the medium tank line, but it's a light tank. I like it. It's good. It's very enjoyable. I have 80%, but I think it's only on 10 battles. Yeah, so early days, but averaging 1,000 experience, 80% win rate, damage is at 1,300, assist is 614. Early days, I don't expect to be at 80% after 100. That ain't happening, but nice little tank. Now, it is a 3 crew, so let's move on to perks, fellas. It is a 3 crew tank, and this is now showing some of the issues and things with the crew system, or the perk system that we have now. Yeah, the VTU is not good. I did throw Julia Winnefield at it. This is one of the best, if not the, I think there's 2 characters like her, or maybe 3, who has, I think, 2 0-skill perks. Yes. So, which means your 6th skill is only as much experience as your 4th would take. So, I just put her in the tank, threw a few of the check books at her because I had a bunch of them, and she's already I could finish that off with books. I'd only take a few more books, and she'd be just max perks. But she has 2 positions. She's a commander and a radio operator, and here we are. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Now she's working on her 3rd radio operator skill. Interesting. On the one hand, she is a 7-skill character right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And she can be fairly easily a 9-skill character. On the other hand, she'll never be anything more than a 9-skill character. So in theory, in the past, you could have got her to all of the skills, actually, whatever the total number is for those 2 positions.
Right.
Which you're not going to be able to. So you do have to pick, especially in terms of the radio operator skills. You're only getting 3 of these. Max, that's it. That's all you can have. So on the one hand, I think it gave a boost to a lot of crews. On the other hand, it capped a lot of your high-end crews.
Yes, yeah, because my 430U crew, I feel they've lost out on it because that was probably, I think I've got 2 crews that are completely maxed with skills. So I
Yeah.
lost out. I feel I lost out. You got perks and skills, haven't you? So, but it just feels like they lost out.
And it's a bummer too because the radio operator skills are great. Are a lot of them are pretty damn good for scouts, right?
Yeah,
So if you have a scout that has a bespoke radio operator, you have a benefit. Now, not a lot
yeah.
do because they tend to have smaller crews, but theoretically, if you had a 4 or 5 crew scout, skills wise, you're going to come out
Yeah.
ahead.
yeah, because effectively over 2 crew members, you've got double the skill set.
Yeah. Now, Cliffy said, "Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pilgrim."
No, go on.
Yeah, Cliffy's like, this is the same order he did. I went back and forth on this before we get too far down this rabbit hole. Remember, you've got the reset for free right down here.
Yeah.
And it shows, you can't see it's behind Pilgrim there, but I still have 25 days. So you can set stuff up, guys, and then reset it for free and set it up again just to test stuff. Okay? But for a scout, there's a lot of good skills with the radio operator. Cliffy said this is the same order that he did, but I'm giving up on this one, which is cool. Time to determine whether your vehicle's been spotted. That's a great scout skill. This probably doesn't matter side by side. You get a bonus at less than 50 from an allied vehicle of the same type. Probably not something you really want to do. So that's, I think, for a scout, a non-player. But as Cliffy said, firefighting is a problem. Because remember, it's only a radio operator skill now.
Yeah.
Essentially, your scouts are not going to have firefighting. I mean, you could, but you're giving up, I think, 2 better, or at least 1 better anyway, and potentially 2 better because signal interception is probably better for a scout. But I took jamming so I can go dark quicker. I think that this one is less than jamming because yes, it will tell you you're spotted earlier, but you should be playing your scout to not be spotted.
Yeah, exactly. But that is very situational. You could use that for something like a medium to better effect.
Well, I don't know. I sort of feel like jamming is better than this in every case, but remember, you're only removing 1 second from 10, or potentially more if they have the skill that keeps you lit further. So I don't know.
Yeah.
This does reduce from 3 to 2.25. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. It could be, yeah, you're right. It could be, if you're active scouting, you probably want this. That's a good point, 100%. Because now you're expecting to get spotted, and if you learn about it earlier, you can take evasive. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, so
What about so that, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the skill sets are going to improve certain light tank play. But what about that? Oh, what's it called? Hang on. Let me just grab a crew up and I'll tell you. Because I've been actually applying this religiously to while I've been doing the changes. This particular skill, if I can find it. Hang on.
it's probably going to be to taste, Grendel, whether you want to know your...
Coordination. I am doing every time I've got a crew that I need to reskill now.
What's it on?
It's on the commanders.
Okay.
See, this is what I'm talking about. On the Manticore, I mean, I haven't done it yet. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more skills to sort out now. Because it's a 2-job commander, isn't he?
Yeah.
3-job commander, sorry. 3-job commander. So he's commander, driver, and radio op, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just I've lost out. I think you lose out with it, mate. Anyway, so...
Yeah, it's a good point. Also, that the repair kit changes may relegate repair skill to a bit less useful. Also, remember repairs is each crew member. I actually have it on my. I didn't realize this. I may have to change this. I have this actually on Yulia. I wasn't necessarily thinking about it, to be honest. I may actually remove that because who really cares with the scout anyway? And I can pick up maybe practicality, which will further decrease the cooldown time, right? By 2 seconds?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
by 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you trade repairs and plus this will work for all your consumables.
And also, don't forget you've got directives. If you aren't going to use it against a piece of equipment, you can direct your crew
Yeah.
to do a firefighting or camouflage or whatever it might be. So it would act exactly like you had all that skill set on those crew members.
Does anybody find sound detection useful?
I hate it. I don't have it on any of the tanks.
I just don't feel like it helps me get out of the way.
No. I mean, and to be honest, this big yellow sort of beamy thing going just annoys me. Yeah, I know you know when artillery is going to have a go at you, because if you're in a situation where you're one-on-one or you're battling or you're in a light tank or you've been spotted, you just assume automatically that art is now focused on you. So you do the necessary action to remove yourself from the worst of the arty damage.
Yeah.
And you hear it coming in anyway. So I don't know. I've never used it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the only thing is less stun. That's. But I don't know if I looked at the commander stuff. I don't think sound detection trumps any. Well, I guess for a heavy, sound detection might trump concealment, but I think it doesn't trump practicality. So if this was a heavy tank,
no, not at all.
if this was a heavy tank, I think I would drop concealment and have practicality.
Yeah.
Which means I would still be leaving out sound detection.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if coordination's that big of a deal for a heavy tank. I mean, there are some situations where you get to the heavy brawl and you might spot someone first, in which case your aim speed might speed up a little bit. I guess that could be helpful. So the point of all this is there's a lot of different interactions with a lot of these skills. So I am not 100% sure what is best on all of them. Let's go and just take a quick look now at. So she's got gunner and loader. So we'll start with the gunner stuff. Now it's a light tank, so we're gonna have concealment on everything. I have not used repairs here. I got brother in arms, snapshot, designated target, so that will keep things lit longer. Theoretically, that gets you more assist because people can see it for longer. And quick aiming. I did not use concentration, although I do see that as possible benefit to a light tank, because sometimes you're in that bush and you're stationary and you're going to take that shot. But I felt that was a bit situational. That sounds more like a TD skill to me. I didn't have Deadeye. Not worried about that. I think the rest of the things I picked are these are probably, in my opinion anyway, for a light tank, the best things to take. And then we've got, where's the rest? All right, and then we've got her loader perks, which there's only 6 of. Intuition, I think, is still a great one. Although it's an autoloader, so it's not quite as good for autoloaders. Actually, maybe that's not even good at all for autoloaders. I don't. Does this only load one shell? I thought it reloaded the whole. I think it reloads the whole clip. It's auto reloaders. I think it's not great for. So this is all right. I might change that. These are really some of the newest ones that I'm not 100% sure of, because we've got perfect charge, which is cell velocity by 10%. Close combat is loading time increases when you're close. For a light tank, if you're doing the circle thing, or you're knife fighting another light tank, this could be a benefit. And then ammo tuning. What's cool about this is you can see it over here. So if I highlight it, it shows that. Well, look at the damage up here. It's under Pilgrim's graphic a little bit here. We're going to move this graphic. If you put your mouse over it, And it's why I didn't really take it, guys. It changes my average damage and average pen from 100 to 101 and 142 to 144. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, while listening to you now, I'm just trying to set my T17 up. So I've got 3 crews in here now. Sorry, it's a 3 crew tank.
Now, what's interesting about ammo tuning is the higher your average pen, the bigger the bonus. At higher tiers, that's a bigger benefit for a higher tier just based on the way the game is played and how they balance penetration to armor. You're going to get a much more bang for your buck at higher tiers and higher pen rates for ammo tuning because 2% of 275 pen is a lot more, or 2% of 300 pen is a lot more, and that will make a difference for those close penetration to armor calculations because it'll be a much higher benefit, much higher bonus. And then if you think about the average damage, let's go find one of the big guns and see what it does. I'm kind of curious actually now that I've talked about it. So we're talking about big. Let's use the Ridiculo gun, the British, the ship barn, and let's go to the gunner or the ammo guy. I guess is what it is. All right, let's see what we get. So we got 1,150 damage and 310 penetration. Huh?
Say that again. Go on.
Hold on. Two percent of 300 is 6, right? Why am I only getting 4? Is my math math is not mathing? Oh, 2% on the low end. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's not that big a deal. It's a skill to get 4 more penetration, even on the highest, one of the highest penetration tanks in the game. Oh my God. I would ignore that. I mean, unless you just absolutely already have them, which you won't because there's 9 and you can't have 9. I don't think I would ever use ammo tuning. Do any of you see a reason to use this in any way over the rest of this stuff? I don't think so. I don't think you ever pick this. That's wild, actually. That went from holy cow, that's cool to worthless. All right, there you go.
What equipment are you putting on your T17 then?
Okay, let's go back to T17 because we were talking multi-crew mostly is kind of what I wanted to get at. Let's go back to T17.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah. No, that's what we're doing. All right. I have optics in the optics slot, standard
in
optics.
the optics slot, yeah.
Standard optics. I could put bounty stuff on it, but I didn't bother. We've got turbocharger class 2 and an LNES.
Right, okay. So standard. Well, I've got a bounty optics. So, I can stick that in, I guess.
You can.
Yeah.
You think ammo tuning is good, Zemke? Over the other skills? I don't know why you would take it over any of those other skills. All right. But I could be missing
So low
something.
noise exhaust system. What was the third equipment slot?
Turbo. Because I find this to be a little slow.
Okay. What's the directive? Did you put a directive?
No, I haven't bothered, but I am running food.
Okay. Now, here's the other thing. Did you free XP all the way to the Top Gun and everything else, or have you played
All
the
right.
slot?
So, did my video drop on? I think my video dropped on this. One of my first games, if not I think it might have been my first game. I don't think it was my first game. As I was loading in, I'm like, you know what? I'll just record this and we'll just do a video on my very first game. Let's go to T17. I'll just tell you the story. It's in the video.
Okay.
I got it. I free XP'd the T27. I had 60-something thousand free XP. I just unlocked the T17. Didn't bother putting any XP on the T25. So now I have a stock T17.
Yeah.
I set it up like this. I went in to research, and I researched the tracks, and then very cleverly forgot to put them on.
No.
So I started the game. I'm like, all right, at least I have the tracks. Well, I had a fully stocked T17. Had a pretty good game. It's on the video. Liked the tank. Got a bit lucky, or a lot lucky. I probably should have been killed much earlier.
With the 6.6, with the 6.6 gun.
Yeah, with the little gun, the 80 DPM.
Okay. Yeah.
Did the video, all that stuff. It took me from there a grand total of 4 battles to upgrade everything.
Okay. All right.
Because I ran clan reserves, I ran personal reserves. You had the doubles, you had the 5 daily add extra XP things, whatever they're called. So all the things that crank up your experience, and it took me 4 battles to unlock. Oops, going the wrong way here. That's field mods. 4 battles to unlock 1 track. Actually, the track was already done, so I bought it. 4 battles to unlock the engine, the turret, and the upgraded 75mm.
Got you. Okay. All right.
And I am now. I also have, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I do have 1 blueprint, so I only need 90. Let's go back to here. I'll stop it. I need 96,000 to unlock the Blesk, minus any blueprints that show up along the way, which probably will. And I'm currently sitting on, at 10 battles total, 32,000 experience.
Right. Okay. All right.
So I don't suspect it's going to take more than about 25 battles to unlock the next tank.
Right. So given what you've said, I've got a bounty optics, standard optics, bounty optics in. I've got in the slot. I've got low noise exhaust system class 2. I've got a turbo. I've loaded up the ammo. I've not changed. I've not got tracks or anything else. It's still stock. I've got food running, and then my crew skills. I've got brother in arms because it's a fairly new crew.
Yeah.
But I've got a 42% bonus perk. So I've got brother in arms. So situational awareness because it's a light.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Right.
Camo is a good one, depending on what you got going on.
Okay. So I'm at the. What is he? Loader, gunner loader. I'm not using ammo tuning. I don't see that being. Intuition in my eyes, has got to be the one first anyway.
That's good, and there's nothing wrong with perfect charge. A little extra shell velocity is always nice. I don't really bother with safe storage on many of my tanks. I mean, it's a cool thing, but these are better. I wouldn't do amp.
Now I've got, I've got a crew, three-man crew or 3-person crew, and now I've got 6 training booklets, 2 training guides to apply. So that will give me.
If you're going to run up the line, I would just make as good a crew as you can. You're going to move them from tank to tank, right?
Okay, just just max it all out.
I mean, the other argument is you might want to save some if you're going to say you like one of the tanks and you want to build a new crew for it. But if you're not too worried about that.
No, I always take the crew and move it through the tanks, which, as you know, takes me forever then to load tanks in because I've got to find the crew. So I'm just going to max them out. I'm going to use all 6 training booklets and 2. See, that only gives me an extra skill on each one.
That's all right.
So it's not massive, is it?
Yeah.
320.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So I'm fairly well set up. Thanks for that. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, close combat's probably good for light tanks. I would agree, especially if you're doing, like I said earlier, the circling or the knife fight with another light tank. That's a little bonus right there.
Right.
So, and then going down to drivers.
Yeah.
So light tank's going to want concealment. Brothers in Arms. There's 2 mandatory ones in my opinion for light tanks.
Yeah.
Off-road, smooth ride, and I really believe in controlled impact for light tanks. It will help keep you alive. It will help you if you ram into the light tank. It will help you.
Interesting.
It will help you if you get rammed. Like if bigger tanks hit you, you're going to take less damage. You might survive it. That being said, there's still some other good things. Engineer adds a kilometer an hour. But that's a whole skill just to get 1 kilometer an hour. I don't know. Again, you only get 6, guys, so you got to choose wisely here. I currently have 5, so what's my next one? There's an argument for clutch braking, but I think people go with off-road driving as more useful in more situations. This thing doesn't really have a problem with hull traverse, so clutch braking might be one you can not worry about on an agile tank like this. It's probably
But
not a problem.
off-road driving is a definite, isn't it, really?
Yes, off-road driving 100%.
Yeah.
Clutch braking, that's more a TD or a slow hole turn. This thing does not have that problem, so I don't think it's a player for most of the light tanks. Brake, it might be for things like the AMXs because they turn like boats.
Yeah.
It's something to think about. Cliffy's, someone said repairs. Zemke said repairs over. Yeah. Because a pinned down light tank is no bueno. But a tracked light tank.
So what's your setup then? And I think your crew will be better. But what's your concealment rating now with that setup?
40-something, 43%.
43%.
Yeah. Not absolutely amazing, but not bad.
See, I'm struggling with that because I've got what you've got in equipment, but I haven't got the crew skills, but I've got a crew skill directed for camouflage. And that gives me 40%.
Yeah.
So it's the crew skills that give you the extra 3% then. What have you given up for that then? To get all your...
I don't know
crew
why I
with
have a little bit more than you.
camouflage?
I don't know why I have a little bit more than you, to be honest.
Because I've got the exhaust. I've got in the directives. I've got grants all crew members a concealment perk trained to 100%. I've got food.
I don't know, dude. I don't know why I have a little bit more than you.
What's your commander crews skills? Sorry.
Well, I have 100% concealment on all 3.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, and the directive then adds 3%. Yeah, I get that. All right.
Well, I'm not using the I'm not using the directive.
Oh, you're not
I could
using
have
the
better with a
directive.
directive. Yeah.
So what's your commander's crew skill then?
Are all 3 of yours at 100% camo?
No, I haven't got camo on any of them. I'm using.
Well, that's why. That's the difference. Oh,
Is it because
I don't think
I'm
that.
using the directive?
I don't know if the directive is as good as this crew having it, to be honest.
Okay. Because it says when you put the directive on, it says trained to 100%. So it must be additional.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's odd, isn't it?
That's true.
It's
It
not
does.
ideal, is it?
No. Yeah, Cliffy, that's true. It does. It is 1 kilometer backwards. That is helpful.
That is helpful. Yeah.
So it makes it better than just 1 kilometer forward. Yeah, I don't think there's some extra bonuses. I think that the directives don't do, like the whole crew having it bonus or whatever the hell the commander's bonus. I think might be the difference right there. But for a light tank, what's reliable placement? HE shell absorption by 10 and decreases damage received from falling by 30. I don't even know if that's a. I don't know. I suppose if you're a lightly skinned tank, that might be nice to have. Say on your on your Scorpion or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think my next, I'm probably just not going to worry about repairs, to be honest, most of the time anymore. On my next pickup, it's either going to be, I'd probably just top it off with engineer, just whatever, get a little bit more speed out of it. I don't think either one of these is a factor for the T-17. Again, this is changes for classes. It will either be repairs or engineer, one of the two, I think. So as I said, this is all a work in progress, guys. So on the clan Discord and here and on stream and all that good stuff, if you guys have any good advice or things you've learned, always chuck it in there on the videos, all that stuff. I'm not saying anything that I'm setting up here is the perfect idea. But there's a lot. Now let's go look at the Mana Core for a second, because this sort of shows some of the issues with this system. So Chuck went from a 7 perk, I think he was working on his 7th, to a 12 perk. So he's way better than he was, which is fine. The driver, old Rudolph here, went from a 7 perk to a 9 perk. But they're maxed. That's it. Theoretically, Chuck could have had 18 perks.
Yeah.
Or whatever the total amount on all of them was. I don't remember. Some of them were doubles, so it wouldn't have. I don't remember what the total number was, but more than what he has, more than the 12 that he has. But in reality, the amount of experience that would have taken. But there are people who lost, I think, perks on characters.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The Manticore for me now has 11 perks.
Yeah.
So that's good. I've benefited, but there is, without a doubt, there are some crews which I feel now are less than what they were. They're probably not, but they are. They look less of the necessary ones, especially when you've got 2 or 3 job crewman. So if you've got a commander gunner loader or a commander gunner radio op or something, I think it's not 100% good.
So considering the situation with repairs and the kits now, I might drop repairs and pick up practicality.
Okay.
I might do that. Mentor doesn't matter once you. Oh, Mentor also does the replace knocked out members thing. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. So that's a little added bonus. But as far as getting extra crew out of the Mana Core, that doesn't matter now that it's max. Sound detection I don't care about. So I could drop repairs and pick up practicality.
What, on the Manticore?
Yeah. For the Gunner's perks, I've taken Snapshot, Concentration, and Designated Target. The reason I did Concentration over Quick Aiming is with the Mana Core, I rarely shoot as soon as I spot something, unless it's late game. Concentration,
so you wouldn't bother with Coordination?
Concentration, you mean?
Concentration, sorry.
No, I have it. I have Concentration, Snapshot,
right, yeah,
and Designated Target.
Got it.
Yeah, the K91 I heard is pretty good. So there, I think there's an argument here with the Mana Core to pick up Quick Aiming instead of Concentration. I think that's to taste a little bit. I like Designated Target though. That's going to help you. It's going to help you keep things lit longer as long as you're pointing at them. And then we have the Radio Operator's perks. Now, see, in the old system though, I could have prioritized these Radio Operator perks and dropped out either Gunner or Commander perks and picked up some of these that are better for a light tank. But I can't do that now. I only get 3 of these. So there's that limitation on these smaller crews. So I'll never be able to get all the cool things for a light tank here.
No, that's a good point.
And firefighting is right out. I mean, I don't think you would, in a light tank, you would not prioritize firefighting over signal interception or jamming. Side by side is a non-player, I think, for light tanks. No, that's just, you can throw that out of the pool. That's not going to be a factor.
So would you, communications expert, would you not even look at that?
I would. I like it. It seems interesting because once you've spotted for your vehicle's initial hit points, which you should do fairly quickly in most Mana Core games, you have an automatic 2.5. It's half of a Brothers in Arms, right?
Yeah.
Because Brothers in Arms is 5 or is it 10? Yeah, it's another half of Brothers in Arms chucked on there. But what do you give up?
Well, that's the thing. What do you give up for it?
I would love to have that, but situational awareness is mandatory. Period. That you take that. There's no debate. The debate then becomes between signal, communications, and jamming. Side by side, I don't think is a factor, and firefighting I'd love to have, but not over any of these other four. So what do you take? Yeah, I mean, maybe communications. Let's think about this. See, communications expert is situational, more situational than signal and jamming because it requires you to do something before you get it. These don't require you to do anything. Now, granted, you should spot your hit points pretty quickly, and then I think it becomes overall better, maybe, than these two. But it's a hard argument, man. I'm not sure. All three of these are great, and I'd love to be able to get all three of them, but you just can't. You know who can? People who have a designated radio operator.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a light tank that has 5 crew members that matters anyway.
Is it Sheridan? No.
4.
One of the big Americans, is it not?
No. I don't think there's any 5 crew member light tanks that matter. There might be some lower tier ones, but there's no 5 crew member. Yeah, there's 4. So those radio operator skills, which are great for light tanks. Ooh. Okay, well here you go. The EBR 90 can get all of the radio operator skills for a light tank because it has a bespoke radio operator.
And the Chaffee can.
Chaffee has one. Oh, that's lower tier.
Oh, it's tier 5, yeah. Tier 6 super Chaffee. That can do it. Tier 6 super Chaffee can do it.
Isn't that interesting? There's one that can do it. Let's find it. We can just go through these real quick. He might be the only one.
What, tier 10?
I'm looking at 8 to 10.
Okay. 1,
Light
2,
tanks.
3, 4, yeah. 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Sheridan's 4.
It's weird that one-wheeled tank is the one that's got it. Oh, okay, the Lynx. So, same line. The Lynx can do it. Can the EBR? EBR can do it. The EBR FL10 can do all of the radio operator skills. The 90 can, and I guess that means that the 105 can. Yes. So, just as a weird anomaly of the way they've set up the tanks, the EBRs their radio operator can get all the good radio operator skills. That's great.
Which obviously doesn't help making that even more OP, does it? No.
Well, let's look at it though. If I did have an EBR, do they matter? Let's find out what the radio operator gets here. Well, you'd have to have brothers in arms. So that actually, okay, that's. See, this is why there's layers, fellas. Because the radio operator is a separate crew member and not an additional, you will have to take brothers in arms on him. So that decreases it right away to 5 of the skills.
Yeah.
Because you have to have brothers in arms. Situational awareness mandatory, so there's 2. So now you have 4 left. Concealment, that's 3. Guess what? Okay. So there you go. Now you're only getting 3, fellas.
Yeah. 3 bespoke, because everything else is generic.
Yeah. So you actually
3 bespoke.
You end up with the same problem. Yeah, Cliffy, absolutely. I just came to that realization.
Yeah.
So you've got the same issue. You're going to get 3 of the 4 good ones. Pick wisely. You have to go brothers in arms, Grendel. I don't think there's anyone that would argue to take one of these other brothers in arms. I don't know. Maybe somebody would, but you're right. You don't have to, but I would highly recommend Brothers in Arms. It's very powerful. All right. That was cool. More to come on the skill thing. I know Quickie Baby's done a fairly decent dive on it, so check out his video. He does talk about every one of them. So, and there's probably, I think Skill's done. There's a lot of people have done videos, so if you really want to go after some of those details, then those guys have that stuff. Whew. All right, man. That is everything that I had, I believe. You have to go plan for Everest. What?
Again?
How far
No,
are you
I'm
hiking?
having a rest. I'm having a rest afternoon from it. I've got, look,
You're not hiking
that is
today?
that's 11 pages of planning. So I'm having a break.
Don't you pay those people to do the planning?
Yeah, but I like to do the exercise myself just to see what I say compares against what they say. I don't know that they're going to have the better intel.
Do the Sherpas
So
carry the palanquin with you sitting in the chair up the hill?
Absolutely, that's my plan all along. Who needs to climb and acclimatise? Just get Sherpas to carry the pilgrim.
Oh yeah, like a little climatized pod
Yeah.
that's pressurized.
Yeah, absolutely. Have Grendel seen the new cheat? I don't think it's going to impact that big. Have you seen it, Guido?
Yeah, it's not new. It's been around for a while.
I don't think it's going to impact that greatly. I think Wargaming are onto it anyway.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, it might impact NA because of the size of the server.
So here's do you remember several years back, and I think it was Skill was noticing in games that people he was fighting were getting these little delays when they showed up near him or when he was lit.
Right? Yeah, I remember that.
And remember when I said
Yeah.
this? So what was happening is, as I recall, there was a 3-mark mod that would, when it saw somebody, it would go search and give you some information on that situation.
Right.
And because there had been a mistake, I believe, in looking up Skill, there was some kind of issue. It was not finding him correctly in the database, that it would delay. It would have an issue. So, and it was a de facto. It ended up being kind of a cheat. If they had the mod installed and he had the mod installed, they would get a delay in their game, right?
Yeah.
So that's a proof of concept of these mods, that if 2 people in the same game have it, things can be transmitted or done.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because this is mostly server side, so it's very difficult for just a guy to do a mod and get into their server and somehow modify a lot of the game mechanics. That's just not happening. But if 2 clients or 2 people in the same game are getting data from the server sent to them, then that can be processed through a third-party thing, and that data can be sent to them in other matters, not through the game, but through other
means.
Um,
I mean, if you look into it, you can see the cheaters. They've got screenshots. Why do cheaters screenshot their screens anyway?
yeah.
So a cheater screenshot his screen, and he has 12 clients open.
Yeah.
And it's an automatic press battle
Yeah.
for all those 12 clients. Bang.
It's just a script,
if you-
and with AI, you can automate it quite a bit. Yes, I did,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm talking about. Not working. Daki's video. So the point of all that is, when you have mods for a player on one side and a player on the other side, then you can pass a lot of data, and what's being passed is the positions and the movement, etc. of all the other of the tanks on the other guy's side. So I think that in Daki's video, I don't know if you ever got to it, but that one arty that wasn't really moving much, so he killed the guy cheating, killed the other arty.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You wouldn't have to be alive for that to work, because as long as you're in the game, it doesn't matter. He might have actually killed.
See your own team.
He might have actually killed the guy, the client tank.
He's cheat. Yeah.
And I'll say client tank, because you can set it up to where there isn't anybody playing the one that's sending you the info. All you need is a tank, a client that's in that match against you, and then that data can be sent to you, and then it's then put on your client computer side.
You then see where all the enemy.
So so it shows you where everything is. Yeah. And this guy, how did he? Oh no, somebody sent him the replay. I don't know if this person has streamed this one. This was a replay Dacky had that was very suspicious, and then as he went through it, he explained what was going on.
That's right, yeah. And
Yeah.
then he got the replay off the off somebody else, didn't he?
So it's the same idea as the farming and boosting companies. They'll
Yes.
put a bunch of bots essentially they'll just mass go into the game, and as long as it's, first of all, if you have enough, eventually you're going to get somebody in where you need it to be. And if it's low server pop at the time, usually late at night, that makes it easier. And if you've automated it through AI and you've got a computer running multiple instances of the game,
It just goes through the night. You go to bed, wake up in the morning, you've got yourself.
and if you've coded it right, then it can just go. Now the other one that was recently shown, actually I showed some of it, but also somebody else was talking about it. I had that game where there were 3 artillery in the game.
Yes.
And there was actually another 3 probably running the same program, and the program's out there, and it's an ARTI program that automatically runs your ARTI. Because ARTI's kind of easier to probably program, because you can go to certain spots and then just shoot and all that stuff. There's not as much movement and whirring and so an ARTI that moves 10 feet and sort of randomly shoots at shit does not look as suspicious as a tank that sits at cap and spins its turret and maybe shoots at some of the spots. So it was the same thing as I was talking about, really, in terms of concept, that Skill was showing, and Skills was not on purpose. This was apparently a mistake, but it showed proof of concept. If you have 2 clients in the same game, there is data that can be passed or things that can be done.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's very tempting, and I would imagine more people than you would realize have created another account and ground up some ARTI and tried to sync drop. And if you get it into the same game, you can get a lot of benefit off of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've sync dropped with platoons, and given each other shit, but we've never really passed info.
No, it's not. No, I mean, when you do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, go, it's so random. There's no guarantee of getting. We know this, so it's only, and that's not cheating, you might.
I mean, the other way to look at it is, back in the day when there was cross team chat, you'd have people give away positions just via chat.
Yeah, out of malice.
Yeah, this is just This is just a
wow.
mod that does the same thing, but with more specificity and the whole enemy team. But that Dacky video, man, that Nomad did like 8,000 damage.
Yeah, it's crazy, wasn't it? Absolutely crazy.
I mean, the chat was hilarious too, because people are like, I just got hit. Because the guy who sent him the video, he came across and stopped and.
Well, he was in a Shibble Tibble, whatever.
Yeah, he was in a Shrek.
Yeah.
I think he stopped to look at something that was spotted. And he sat there for a second, and then he just gets nailed. He's like, what the? Yeah. So he moves like, maybe he was lucky.
Happened.
And then you look down, and the guys are down on the one line, and they're randomly just getting blapped.
Just get shredded.
Everyone's like, I'm not spotted. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And then the ARTI blows up. You're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, fellas. My day off, I think, is Friday, guys. I'm planning on streaming Friday. If I can get to it earlier, I might do it. I may have to work. The schedule's all in chaos this week. But the plan is a stream on Friday. I am planning on Coffee Talk. You're out, I think, next week. Is that right?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Now. That's it. All the vacation, everything else is done.
Cool. So we'll have Pilgrim next week as well. And I think that's pretty much it from this side. At one point, they had a burr halfway up the map and the TVs.
That's right, yeah, and the TVs at the back were still getting shredded. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, that's right, Grindle. The burr had moved way up and should have been spotting anything that could have been anywhere near spotting the TDs, and they're still getting wrecked.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know how you... The only way you catch that, because all of that is outside of the game. There's nothing being sent to their server about that. That is a overlay program that's talking peer to peer for the 2 clients, or the 2 not the 2 clients, but the 2 computers that are running the clients, and then that's being overlaid at the computer side, at the player side, client side.
See, the other thing as well, Guido, unless it's actually happening to you in your location, you very rarely
You can
get
miss
to
it.
see that. So if
Yeah.
you were on the other side of the map, you're not even noticing that. You're just
Yeah.
noticing your team is rubbish.
Yeah. But this one was very obvious. So the only way you catch that is by replays like that, and then of course we're going to
Yeah.
have to investigate it. But I mean, unfortunately, to be honest, it's circumstantial, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I mean,
not provable, is it?
Yeah, you can't. You're not sit. I don't think there's any way they can air quotes prove it, except that there's really no way that could happen.
No.
You know.
By exception. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's by exception. Unless the IP is the same for 3 different tanks, then I don't know. That was probably.
Well, then they just use the VPN stuff. I mean, there's ways around
VPNs.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, fellas. That is it for me. Let's find somebody to raid. Let's see. Also, I'm hungry. I need some breakfast.
A good English breakfast: sausage, beans, bacon, fried bread,
Oh,
black
man.
pudding.
I wish I could. I don't have that here.
Oh, bless you.
There's a guy on. I don't know if any of you have run into this guy. He's an old bloke. His daughter. He lives with his daughter, and his daughter makes American dishes for him to eat.
Wow.
And he's just a proper old English bloke. And he did another video where they went out and brought takeout English breakfast.
Yeah.
And he's got this box, right? He gets his plate out and he's like, let's plate this English breakfast. And he just, because it's 2 eggs, 2 sausages, blood pudding, hash browns, the little brick hash browns.
Yeah.
Two of those. What else is
Yeah.
in there? Beans,
2 of everything.
toast, beans. What am I missing?
Yeah.
Oh, steamed tomatoes,
Yeah.
steamed or fried, whatever you like.
Yeah.
What else is in there? Well, the ham.
Bacon.
There's ham,
All right. Okay. That's an
right?
addition.
Bacon, I guess what you guys call bacon, we call ham.
Bacon. Yeah.
Bacon.
Sorry, yeah. Bacon. Yeah.
So, because you got to have bacon and sausage.
Of course you have. Yeah. Like life without bacon is not life. Is it?
Brown sauce.
Yeah.
Mushrooms. I forgot the mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Mushrooms. Yes. You gotta have a plate this big.
And he's the old guy. He just gets piling it on. And he definitely has the place he's been putting it there. Like, he's set it on the plate. And it's pretty much the way every time one comes, that everything seems to be in the same place.
Yeah, you
know
gotta
what I
have it
mean?
right. You gotta have sausages to the left, bacon to the right.
Yeah.
Hash browns to the top, beans to one side, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he didn't show him eating it, but I'm like, I bet he just tucks into that and eats every bit of that, man.
Oh, absolutely. And you lick the plate clean at the end.
I have to admit, a good English breakfast is fantastic.
Set you up for the day. You don't need another meal till the evening then.
I think especially if it's a later breakfast, more like a brunch thing,
Yeah.
that's a great way to do it.
But it is a heart attack on a plate, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It definitely is.
All right, let's
Who
rate
we
Milepost.
gonna go and rate?
Milepost. I think I actually rated him a while back, but old fella. All right, guys, we're gonna rate Milepost. Yeah, he's got a Ford Racing flag and he's a Colts fan. Well, you can't have everything, I guess.
Can't have everything.
Can't have everything. All right, that's it from Guido, signing off from the left side of the Atlantic.
Pilgrim signing off from the correct side of the Atlantic.
See ya.